Okay, so we'll start with the next element of this particular chapter, form and content of the auditor's report. Okay, before this, we will have a quick recap. See, we started with the SA 705. In SA 705, primarily we learned about the objective that auditor has to issue appropriate modification. What do you mean by that? That means you need to give the appropriate type. How many are there? There are 3: qualified, adverse, disclaimer. Yeah, 1 minute. Yes, qualified, disclaimer, and adverse. So, what are the circumstances? There are 2 circumstances: when you have obtained evidence, when you have not obtained evidence. Okay, and the criteria will be 2: materiality and pervasiveness. So that we have learned. When it is material and pervasive, whether you obtained evidence, not obtained evidence, qualitative, qualified. If it is material but not pervasive, but if it's material and pervasive, obtained evidence adverse, not obtained evidence disclaimer. Now, this is the first requirement, like you decide how to issue the which type of audit opinion. So with this, we have clearly understood, like under what circumstance, what type of audit report has to be issued. The second requirement is here, form and content of the auditor's report when the opinion is modified. You remember in the SA 700, we start certain elements of the auditor's report. Okay, what was the first element? The heading. Now, if you are going to issue modified opinion, is your heading will be different? No. Heading will be always independent auditor's report. That's why they didn't discuss now. Second, your addressee. If you are going to give modified opinion, will your addressee will be different? No. That's why they didn't discuss here. See, what they have discussed is what is that element which is going to change as compared to SA 700 if you are going to give the modified opinion. So the third element is opinion. Now from here it's going to change. So in SA 700 we had the heading called opinion. So here the heading will change into qualified opinion, adverse opinion, disclaimer of opinion. So that the moment somebody reader opens the auditor's report, the very first thing he will come to know what exactly they are going to tell, because that's the most important thing, the opinion. Like I said, doctor's opinion, teacher's opinion. Now, what is the special consideration in expressing the qualified opinion? They told you. So when the qualified auditor is going to express the qualified opinion, see, they have told only the changes. As per SA 700, what is that very first thing you should start with? First element is we have audited. Should you say for that? Yes. Second, you have to identify the financial statement items. Should you do the same thing for qualified opinion? Yes. Third, you should figure out the refer notes to accounts. Should you do it here also? Yes. Fourth, you need to tell about the periods covered. Should you do it here? Yes. So since you have to tell the same thing what you told in SA 700, here they didn't discuss about it. An opinion para has got 2 sections. One is all about your identity, period, standard, accounting standard, companies act framework and all. The second is opinion paragraph, where they say the accompanying financial statement of shows true and fair view. That para is going to change. So that change they have given it here. I hope your students, you are following here. Now, when the auditor is going to express a qualified opinion due to material misstatement, that means he has found the material misstatement, he shall state in the auditor's opinion that the accompanying financial statement, except for the effects of the matters described in the basis of qualified opinion, and if you are going to do the audit as per fair presentation framework, you should say give a true and fair view of the financial statement in accordance with the Banking Regulation Act or whatever. And if it is compliance framework, you should say they have been prepared in all material respects. And if it is going to be because of the inability to obtain, that means you didn't get the evidence, then you cannot say except for the effects, because you don't know the effect. You should say except for the possible effects. So all these elements will carry 1 mark, students, because they are going to ask you to draft. So you have to learn it. Okay, and you should, from the question you should identify, did the evidence obtained or not obtained. If the evidence is not obtained, then you should have the word possible effects. Follow? So this is how it's going to change. Let us see one illustration number 3 and illustration number 6. Okay, so here everything is covered. We will come back later. Now, XYZ is a company engaged in the manufacture of cranes. Statutory auditor is Sudhir. Company has taken long-term funding for fixed capital requirement and short-term funding for its working capital. That means primarily they have got two types of loans, long-term and short-term. CA Sudhir found the company's financing arrangements were about to expire and company is unable to renegotiate or obtain replacement financing. That means they have to pay money now back. Company may be unable to realize its assets and discharge its liabilities in the normal course of business. That means the money in which they have invested this loan, that they are not in a position to sell it immediately. Oh, now it looks like, when you read up to here, it looks like SA 570 going concern. Because this is a situation where your commitments have expired now. You have to pay money, but you don't have assets. Now, notes to accounts annexed to the financial statement discuss the magnitude of financial arrangement, expiration and total financing arrangement. They do not include discussion on the availability of the refinancing. Thus, the financial statement and notes do not fully disclose the fact. Okay, now what kind of opinion should you issue? See, this is a very tricky question. Is it SA 570? Are they speaking anything related to that going concern or material uncertainty? See, those words are not visible here. So, what you need to conclude from this, that the financial statements are not fully disclosing certain facts which are material for the users to understand. See, that means it doesn't look like they have got a problem with the going concern here, because okay, they have told here that this is the loan getting repaid and all, but it doesn't stress upon that fact. So you may have to make an assumption. See, you can make an alternative assumptions also. If you have never seen this question, you can also speak it from SA 570 perspective, but they expect you to talk from the, maybe from the, what is that called, qualification. Okay, you see here, reporting in case of uncertainty. See, they have spoken from the going concern perspective. In the present case, you are unable to obtain the replacement financing for the long term. This situation indicates material uncertainty. Yeah, see, our guess was correct here. So it was an uncertainty related case. Financial statement is not fully disclosing. So what you are going to give? You are going to give the qualified opinion, because we understood, no, if the material uncertainty is there and the management has not disclosed properly, we are going to issue the qualified opinion. So extract of the qualified auditor's report. So this is what they can ask you in the examination. What kind of opinion? You said qualified opinion. Extract. In our opinion, to the best of our information, according to the explanations given to us, except for the incomplete disclosure referred to in the basis of qualified opinion section, the standalone financial statement give true and fair view as on 31st March and profit and loss account as on that date. Now, in the basis of qualified opinion, you need to say, as discussed in the note number 2, this is going to expire. These negotiations are going to happen. It's happening, but there is no such information about the non-availability of the funding. So, situation indicates the material uncertainty. Financial statement do not disclose the same. Okay. So, the question is very silent about the opinion para. Maybe in the examination, they may ask you to draft the para. So, you can mark it as an important question. Yeah, because today somewhere we were able to make out that this is the going concern issue. Yes, accordingly, we will write the answer. Next, illustration 6. CAS is the statutory auditor of Lakshmi Vardhan. In respect of loans and advances of 55 lakhs gave to Savage Sarvagya Private Limited, company has not furnished any agreement to CAS, and in the absence of same, he is unable to verify the terms of repayment, chargeability of interest and other things. What kind of opinion? See, kind of opinion is the keyword. Now, what kind of opinion you will give? So, amount is 50 lakhs. Is it material? Definitely it must be material, but is it pervasive? So, here we may have to make a judgment. So, somewhere since they have not given us the information, so we can assume that this must be material, but not pervasive. because they didn't tell that this amount accounts to 85% of the total of the liability side. No, they didn't tell that. So you are going to issue the qualified opinion because you can tell about the case. So you didn't get any evidence. It is okay. This is the keyword. You should tell that this is not material but pervasive. There is no evidence obtained. That's why we will issue qualified opinion. Now, what can happen in the examination? They can also ask you to give the extract. That's why you have to write extract or the opinion para. In opinion, to the best of information, except for the effects of matter described in the basis of qualified opinion. See what you can do, students. In the previous question, you see, the language is a bit different. Except for the incomplete disclosure of the information referred in the. You need not tell this. You can tell the same thing, except for the possible, except for the effects of the what is it called? Effects of the matters described in the basis of. You can write the same thing because in the study material also you have got the same thing. The financial statement shows true and fair view in conformity with the accounting principles. You practice this. This is a very nice pair. It's a very simple. That's why I marked it as a priority one. In a simple language, you are explaining that the state of affairs and profit and loss account are not showing true and fair view except for the effects. Now, in the basis of qualified opinion, here you can write in note number so and so. You can write in your own language. The company is unable to obtain is not providing me the loan agreement. So, in the absence of which, we are unable to verify the terms of repayment, chargeability, and same whatever they have told in the question. The same thing you can repeat it here. I hope it is okay, students. It's easy. Yes, so now we will move on. What is the special consideration needed for expressing the adverse opinion? Now, when the auditor expresses an adverse opinion, first question comes, what should be the heading of the auditor's report? Same, independent auditor's report. That's why they didn't discuss. Second, addressee, same. Third, opinion para. The first para is same. Heading should be given as an adverse opinion. Heading, we have audited the financial statements of so and so, ending so and so. That is same. But what is changing? The second para of the opinion, where they say that because of the significance of the matter, we don't tell except for the matters discussed in the basis. You should say because of the importance or significance of the matters discussed in the basis of adverse opinion, the accompanying financial statement do not present fairly or give true. You always give true and fairly. You need not tell like this. The accompanying financial statement do not give true and fair view in accordance with the applicable framework. And in case of compliance framework, they are not prepared in respect of all material respects. So this is the only change you are going to follow. Otherwise, it will be the same like SA 700. Now, go to the let us see the example. Exam questions. ABC is a company in the manufacture of iron and steel bars. During the course of audit, Prakash, the partner, found that the company's financing arrangements have expired. Outstanding was payable on 31st March. Company is unable to renegotiate or get the replacement financing and considering the file for bankruptcy. See, very clear cut case here. Very clear thing that it is 570. Now there is one chance, because when you read this, you always feel, oh Baba, this I have already seen this question. In that examination question, it was, in the previous question, it was qualified opinion. So your already mind makes one map that this must be qualified opinion. But see here, this indicates material uncertainty that can cast significant doubt on the ability to continue. Therefore, it may be unable to realize the assets and liabilities in the normal course of business. This is also another keyword. They may be unable to realize its assets and discharge its liability in the normal course of business, because this is the path to bankruptcy. The financial statement and notes do not disclose the fact. What opinion should Prakash express in case of ABC Limited? Now, can you answer it like the previous one? No. Why? Because previously there was only material uncertainty. Followed? Here they are considering filing for bankruptcy. That means no going concern may not be appropriate. You can make an assumption like that. If you see previous case, this was missing. Only the bank financing was not there. They did not make the disclosure. So material uncertainty was there. It was not disclosed. But here, bankruptcy is the keyword, friends. So you can talk in like that. They are filing for a bankruptcy. That means going concern is clearly inappropriate. And if the going concern is inappropriate, disclosures won't make it appropriate. So it's not that I will give a clean opinion and I will have one heading that there is a material uncertainty and all. So in this case, I will end up giving adverse opinion only because my effect is material and pervasive. So these are all the keywords should appear in your answer. Language can be yours. Now, they may ask you to draft one para. Be careful. So what is the heading? Heading you have to write adverse opinion because this is what standard says. So you say, in our opinion, because of the matters, significance of the matters mentioned in the basis of adverse opinion. You need not write like because of the omission of the information and all. You can write because of the significance of the matters mentioned in the basis of adverse opinion, the accompanying financial statement do not show true and fair view of the financial position on so and so date, financial performance and its cash flow as on the year ending as per the accounting standard issued by ICA. First para will remain the same. We have been appointed, we have audited the financial statements of so and so. That will remain the same. Second, you have to write a basis of opinion also. So you will write the story that there is the amount was payable on so and so, bank is considering bankruptcy, situation indicate the uncertainty. So they do not disclose the fact. That is why they are going to issue the adverse opinion. Okay, so filing of the bankruptcy is the differentiating factor between your adverse opinion and the. So that way you can think. Okay, next illustration number 7. In the financial year, MSD Limited faced an extraordinary earth event which destroyed a lot of business activity. Again, 570 comes into picture. The circumstances indicate material uncertainty. So you are very clear now. Continuous unpredictability. Now, which destroyed a lot of business. This is the key because that is what defines whether qualified or adverse. Now, these circumstances indicate due to such event, it may not be possible to realize the assets and so and so. Financial statement notes do not disclose this fact. What kind of opinion you will issue? Yes, you will say again, we will issue the adverse opinion and you will write the story of the adverse opinion. I hope you are clear, students. If it simply says if it destroyed, you can make an assumption and give qualified also. Yes, so these are all the only 3 questions which you can find. Question number 22. Okay, one more question is there which has gone later. Question number 22. Okay, you can make a note. Yes. While auditing the complete set of consolidated financial statement, so you know now what is complete set, balance sheet, P&L, everything. A listed company using fair presentation framework, that means the answer should be true and fair when you are giving opinion. Firm discovered that the consolidated statement are materially misstated due to non-consolidation of one of its subsidiary. Now, is that subsidiary material subsidiary or not material subsidiary? We don't know. It is material subsidiary, but is it pervasive or not? We don't know. So it is material. The material misstatement is deemed to be pervasive. Chalo, very clear that you have omitted to include the consolidation. So it is material and pervasive to the consolidated statement. The effect could not be determined because of it was not practicable to do so. So what is the financial effect? Thus, they decided to provide an adverse opinion for the same and further determined that there is no key audit matters other than the matters described in the basis of adverse opinion. Comment whether XYZ needs to report under SA 701 communicating key audit matters. Is it a key audit matter? The answer is no, because if something is a subject matter of opinion, it cannot be a key audit matter. So you say that communicating key audit matter is not a substitute for disclosures in the financial statement. SA 701 we have already seen. So when the auditor is going to express adverse or qualified opinion, in the basis for qualified or adverse opinion section helps to promote the intended users the understanding and identifies the circumstances. That means whatever you would have told in CAM, you could have told in the basis for adverse opinion also. So it gives the appropriate prominence. Further, when the auditor expresses qualified, okay, separating the communication of this matter from the key audit matter described in the key audit matter section, therefore gives it appropriate prominence. Further, when the auditor expresses adverse opinion, communicating CAM would be still relevant to enhancing the intended user's understanding of the audit. Therefore, requirements of determining the key audit matter apply. However, as an adverse opinion is expressed in circumstances where auditor concluded material misstatements are both material and pervasive, auditor may determine no other matter to be key audit matter. So, since in the given case adverse opinion is being expressed, he can communicate key audit matter in the manner given below. So what is that he will tell? Except for the matters described in the basis of adverse opinion, we have determined there is no other key audit. That means you don't explain again everything. You can tell that, look, if any key audit matter is there, that is all about my adverse opinion. So please refer to the basis of adverse opinion. Means again, you need not repeat all these things here. So this is how you can write the answer. Okay, so you can mark it with priority. I have already marked it because it's a different type of question where you have mixed it with the key audit matter. Okay, whether the XYZ needs to report under 701. Okay, means you need not tell again. You can just give a reference to the basis of adverse opinion. So this is what you can tell in the examination answers. Okay, so leave it. So we'll move on. Now comes the next thing. What if you are going to give disclaimer of opinion? What is your consideration? Okay, here it's going to change totally. Okay, again I will go back, students. When you give disclaimer of opinion, first thing, heading. Is it going to change? No, it is called an independent auditor's report. So heading is not going to change. Okay, heading will remain the same. So that's why they have not discussed. Addressee, same. Instead of disclaimer opinion, you say disclaimer of opinion. That we have already seen. The heading should be disclaimer of opinion. Opinion section primarily contains two sections. Section 1 starts with we have audited. Correct? And this is same for clean opinion, qualified opinion, adverse opinion. Second para is in our opinion. Here it changes. For clean, you say accompanying financial statement. For qualified, except for the effects or effects except for the possible effects. For adverse opinion, because of the significance of the matters discussed in the basis, then you say the accompanying financial statement is true and fair or it is not true and fair. This is how you are going to tell. So primarily there are two sections followed, no? And this section remained the same. That's why they didn't discuss. But if you are going to give disclaimer of opinion, even this section also is going to change. This section is also going to change. Okay. That's the first thing they have discussed. When the auditors is going to disclaim the opinion due to inability to obtain evidence, instead of telling that we have audited the financial statement, okay, so you should say auditor was engaged to audit the financial statement. You don't tell that we have audited because you are expressing disclaimer of opinion. So you should start your sentence instead of we have audited, no, we have been engaged to audit. This is how you should start first sentence. Then you should tell that we are not going to express any opinion on the financial statement. Why? Because of the significant matters described in the basis of disclaimer of opinion, we are not able to obtain any sufficient and appropriate evidence. This is what you need to state. Okay, let us see some of the opinion para. Illustration number 5. Now, Brave FMCG is having tea garden, is exclusively dealing in blending and packing of the tea. During the year, company entered into joint venture purchasing tea gardens in Sri Lanka and Kenya. So they have expanded their operations. PM and associates are the statutory auditors. During the course, the audit team was unable to obtain sufficient appropriate evidence about a single element of a consolidated financial statement, being joint venture investment in Dharma Limited. So when you have prepared CFS, CFS should have all your subsidiaries, associates and joint ventures. But one of the Dharma Limiteds, which is representing 91% of the group's net asset, that means this joint venture is actually 91% of the CFS. See, this itself shows this is pervasive. You need to identify it. And you are not able to obtain the evidence. That means this is by default, it is material and pervasive. You didn't get evidence. So from this sentence only you should understand this is 705 disclaimer of opinion. The group investment in Dharma is at 115 crore in the group's consolidated balance sheet. Draft that opinion paragraph and basis of paragraph to be included in the independent auditor's report. Okay, so here you have to straight away write. They are not asking you which type of opinion and all. So straight away they are asking you to draft. So you are telling, you are going to tell, since it is accounting 90%, you are going to issue disclaimer of opinion. So your heading will be disclaimer of opinion. Okay. What all things you are supposed to tell? You are supposed to tell 3 points, no? So you will be fetching 3 marks to write these points. Let us see whether these points are available. First, we are engaged to audit the accompanying consolidated statement of Brew Limited and its subsidiary, together referred as a group, which comprise of balance sheet, P&L, consolidated cash flow statement, notes to accounts, and so and so. To write this para, you will fetch 1 mark. Second, we do not express opinion on the accompanying financial statement of the group. 1 mark. You see, we do not express any opinion. Reason why? Because of the significance matters discussed in the disclaimer of opinion, we have not been able to obtain sufficient appropriate evidence. See, 3 marks to clean you can going to get from this one. Now, I'll show you, students. Today I came across one document called a marking scheme. I'll just show you how that looks like. Just see that. The group's investment in the joint venture Dharma Limited is carried at 115 crore. So you start explaining the basis of qualified, which is 95%, which is very high, because you have to say quantitative thing. So 1 mark for this. Now, company auditor, as a result, we are unable to determine whether any adjustments are required for the group's proportional share of Dharma's assets, since income and expense for the year and elements making up that. So in the consultant, that means we are not able to figure out the adjustments that is required. The amount is very huge, and we are not allowed any access to the access by the management to the documents, any audit documentation or Dharma's auditor's documentation. So because of these reasons, we are going to express disclaimer of opinion. Just now I'll just show you, students. Today morning only I got it. Just see how the evaluation will happen. Okay, marking scheme will look like ICS marking scheme. You should be getting better ideas. See, May 26, I don't know, in one YouTube, no, I saw. Another thing I'll show you. This is of some old, okay, May 22 exam. Now, if I start, no, first thing, okay, somebody's letterhead and all they are given to board of studies and all. I don't know how this got came. Okay, first thing, see, they told very clearly no fractional marking. And there is something called a step marking. Do you see here? And today, what I saw in the YouTube, I got like this. First heading, no fractional marking. Like, did I not tell you? In intermediate, you are going to get half marks, students, for writing keywords. But here, writing keywords is not important. You have to write a context. You write in your own language, because you cannot bring that language. It's very difficult. But are you able to communicate someone in your own language, in a simple language? That is also a fantastic thing. Now, you see here what they told in May 26 exam. See, they for writing those paras, they give you step marks. Now, is it possible that you write exactly like this? No. There is something like a key, crux, the core. Is that core communicated? The evaluator will award. So, entire thing could have been written in 2 sentences. Still, you will get the marks. If you want to prove, please see the evaluated answer sheets. 1 line they have written, 1 mark they have got. But it should be very specific, it should be very precise. So like this, they will allocate the marks in everything. If it's a 5 mark question, you see explanations, 1 mark. Explanation to 501, 1 mark. Audit procedure, any 2 points out of 3, they will give you 1 mark. And for a conclusion, just to tell modification of the opinion, you will get 1 mark. So total 5 marks will be allotted like this. This is called a step marking. If I go to the second question, see, second question also, they have explained now. If some student is going to write about explanation of SA 560, they will be awarded 1 mark. Emphasis of matter paragraph, if they quote, they will get 1 mark. If they include any 1 point out of 3, any 1 point you include. Any 1 point. You remembered only 1. Just write this. You will step 1 mark. Because you remembered all the 3. It is of no use. Because ultimately, this particular portion is not worth more than 1 mark. This is how they distribute. So that's why don't worry. Even though you remember 1 mark, maybe 1 mark is the only you are expected to get there. That's what you need to learn now. And see, last drafting one paragraph, what that you drafted, see, so big paragraph, maybe in your own language, you got 2 marks. See, this is called marking scheme. I hope you are clear, students. You see, somewhere now you have got only one step mark. See, you have got 4 points. 1, 2, 3, 4, finish. There is no step marks here. Write the 4 points. So otherwise you will have this much, this question, this mark, this much, and this mark. See, everywhere for reference of this clause, 1 mark. For this clause, you will get 1 mark. That's why, students, when you are skipped to write something, you will see that 0 cut. But they will not tell you why you have cut. Why? Because you are not written. No. Like for example, you are not written this particular. Say, for example, this particular para would have fetched 1 mark. Or in the previous example, you were supposed to write the emphasis of draft. You didn't write only. Now, will evaluator tell? Maybe if I am evaluating, I will tell EOM should have been given, or I would have given you my marking scheme. Last time I shared, no. But evaluator is not going to tell. So that's why you have to understand every question, how many things they are asking. So you may have to write so many different aspects. So it could have been anything. Okay, you can frame your own answers. I hope it's clear, students. I hope this should give you better understanding. Yes. So illustration number 8. Extracts of the financial statement is as follows. Trade receivable is 200 crore. Bad debt provision is 25 crore. Raw material and FG is 150 and 230. So total, is it 950 total of assets? Maybe because fixed assets and all they are not telling. Otherwise, it is not amounting to 950. Abhimanyu is the statutory auditor. Notice, in respect of debtors amounting to 150 crores, no balance confirmation was received by the team. So how much 150 crore will amount to out of 950, which is 15%. There have been default on the payment of obligations by the debtors. The company has created a provision for doubtful debts to the extent of 25 crore. The company has stated the provision is based on the receivable which are older than 36 months, which are according to the team is inadequate, and they are unable to ascertain the carrying value. Okay, first of all, we have not got the evidence about the 150 crore rupees worth of debtors now. In respect of the inventories which constitute 40% of the total assets. Okay, inventory how much now? You to 150 plus 230 divided by 950, which is total 40%. The management has not undertaken the physical verification. The company has not maintained adequate inventory records, unable to undertake the physical verification. So total 55% of the assets, you don't have any proper evidence only. You are not able to obtain any evidence. Under the above circumstances, what kind of opinion you should express? Yes, we will explain that. We have to give disclaimer because it is material and pervasive. Write the opinion paragraph and the basis of paragraph to be included. Okay, so question number 1, what kind of opinion? I showed you 1 mark. Write the paragraph, 1 mark. Basis of opinion paragraph, 1 mark. How should the auditor give description of auditor's responsibility for the audit of financial statement when the auditor disclaims an opinion? This is also 1 more mark. Now, first thing, types of opinion, you will explain now 2 issues, 15% here, 40% here, material and pervasive. That's why we give disclaimer of opinion. Chalo, we are done with 1 portion. We do not express opinion. In fact, see, they didn't tell the story and all. We have been engaged to audit. Why? Because, fine, okay, they are not told here. Complete thing, balance sheet, P&L and all. No problem. That means, okay, this is also fine. Because this is worth 1 mark only. We do not express any opinion because we have significance of the matter disclosed in the basis. If you want, you can write all those things. We did not get the sufficient appropriate evidence. We have been appointed to audit the financial statement of so and so. Now, in the basis, we are unable to obtain the balance confirmation letter of so and so, and it amounts to 15%. Inventory is amounting to 40%, which could not get. Okay. Now, what is the special consideration? When the auditor is going to disclaim an opinion, statement that auditor responsibility is to conduct the financial statement. So we have to give about the responsibility of the auditor. Okay, because the next question is on the responsibility. We are yet to come. They asked you, state the auditor's responsibility. Okay, we are yet to discuss that. The next para is about the responsibility of the auditor. Somewhere later will come. in the basis of qualified opinion. So there we have to tell that our responsibility is to conduct the audit. Because of the matters we are not able to do and we are independent. So this may fetch you maybe 2 marks. Yes. So the next question, you have got a July 25. You have been appointed as an auditor of Mega and Sons other than the company incorporated in the Companies Act using a fair presentation framework. Appointment was made in April 25. Management has prepared as per accounting standard. Management introduced a new computerized accounts receivable, which is still in the implementation phase. Okay, some system, AR system, billing system. Management is in the process of rectifying the system deficiencies. New system has been discontinued. Upon implementation of new, earlier system has been discontinued. The auditor is unable to obtain the sufficient evidence about the entity's accounts receivable and inventory. Now, okay, with this evidence, with these sentences, you understood that this is modification story. Now, what type of pervasiveness? The effect is deemed to be material and pervasive. So, no evidence, material and pervasiveness, disclaimer. Draft the opinion paragraph and basis of opinion paragraph included. So, in the given case, so you are going to give the disclaimer. So, we were engaged to audit. So, this para you can always give students with some imaginary dummy names. Dummy thing. We do not express opinion. This is very important. And basis you will write all the story. Okay, let us see one last examination question. Manufacturing company had a good global outreach. The company, okay, CAY was the shadow auditor. Company is a large manufacturing facility with the fixed assets value 250 crore, constituting 60% of the total. See, again, one more hint you need to get. Whenever they give you the percentage that this is amounting to so much, this is amounting to so much, please understand they must be talking about the pervasiveness. Another hint you should gather. The facility was significantly damaged. Management refused to allow the independent valuer to assess the damage. So there has been no evidence. Something is pervasive, you didn't get the evidence. Company has not made any provision for impairment also. Insurance claims are pending. That means it's a total case of disclaimer. They have entered into multiple transactions with the related parties amounting to 120. Management has refused to provide complete documentation, citing confidentiality. They need to access. So now, in the basis of opinion, you are supposed to write both the things. 1 mark you are going to score. So, what's the question? In the observation, in the view of the observation, what kind of opinion should he give? So, you should explain that both are pervasive and material. That's why disclaimer should be given. Justify your answer citing the above scenarios. So, you will tell that this is amounting to 60%, this is very pervasive, nature is very critical. Now, on the basis of the opinion decided, you are required to draft the opinion and the basis of opinion paragraph in the independence report. So, first you explain now what is the reason why you are telling disclaimer. The big amount and all you say, and you say disclaimer. Opinion is clear, this and this para, and in the basis we are we are unable to verify this completeness and so and so. Consequently, we are not able to get the arm's length price and all. Some stories you will write. I hope students it's fine. Going through Q&A is very good. Yes. Now, unless required by the law or regulation, when auditor disclaims an opinion, he shall not include key audit matters. That means, can he include key audit matters when he is giving adverse opinion? Answer is yes. One of the Q&A we have already seen, which is that this particular Q&A. That key audit matter when your adverse or qualified opinion is there. But you are not going to explain it. If you feel that you have to bring it to the notice of the investors that you have put more efforts and all, you can refer that, okay, this is one of the, what I have quoted in the adverse section itself is the key audit matter. But when you are giving disclaimer of opinion, you should not include key audit matter. This is one of the para they had given. So I can bring that illustration, some 12 question here. You should not include key audit matter. Why? Answer is very simple. Because you are never audited, then how can you tell key audit matter? Key audit matter is something where you have paid significant attention there. Okay, so we are done with the opinion paragraph. What is the after opinion paragraph? As per SA 700, basis of opinion. So you have to change the heading as, instead of basis of opinion, you should say basis of qualified opinion, basis of disclaimer of opinion, basis of adverse opinion. Now in that basis, you have to quote, you have to write the story. Why you are telling qualified, why you are telling adverse, why you are telling disclaimer. So they say that you have to amend the heading, basis of opinion as a basis of qualified, adverse or disclaimer of opinion. And within this section, include the description, like what happened, why you are giving this modification, which we have already seen in the Q&A. Now they say that if there is any material misstatement relating to specific amount, like in the previous example, we see that the related party was 120 crore, asset was 60%, something 250 crores. They should have include description also, quantification also. So in the examination question, if they tell you the quantity, you have to write that numbers, like by how much it got misstated. If it is not practicable to quantify, you have to state the matter that we are not able to practically quantify the effect. You remember in one of the consolidation example, they did not include the subsidiary. Now you told very clearly that I am not in a position to practically tell you the impact of what is going to happen if I am not going to include it. But you have to state that matter, that if you are not able to quantify, you have to write. Next, what if the material misstatement is related to the narrative disclosures? That means disclosures only they have made a mistake. Then you should include in the basis of qualified opinion explanation as to how disclosures are misstated, and there is no quantification involved. Some disclosures only they have made wrong. Then you correct that. But one very important question comes, please mark it very important. What if they have not disclosed something in the notes to accounts? This is big problem. So if the management have not disclosed only, which they were supposed to disclose, obviously you will give disclaimer of opinion, qualified opinion or adverse opinion, but how do you present it in the description of the basis of our opinion? If there is a material misstatement of the financial statement that related to non-disclosure, first you need to discuss that non-disclosure with the TCWG. Second, in the basis of opinion, qualified or adverse, you should discuss the nature of omitted information, like is it a related party transaction, is it a goodwill impairment. Okay, you have to discuss the nature, and unless prohibited by law, if you are prohibited by law, you should not include. If it is not prohibited by law, include the omitted disclosure. What the management should have done, you should include it in your audit report in the basis section, if it is practicable to do so and you have obtained that evidence about the omitted information. So please mark it important. There is one RTP question also on this particular pair. So let us go to that RTP question. ABC Limited is a listed company engaged in engineering work. The financial statement, the auditor noted the following. Company has overstated the closing inventory by 8.75 crore because of the incorrect valuation of the obsolete stock, which resulted into overstatement of the profit. They are not disclosed material litigation of 12 crore relating to the environmental penalty. This is very easy. You will always go and tell that this is what happened, because of which the profit got overstated by so much, because of the reserves got overstated by so much, because of this the taxation got overstated by so much. So you will always give the explanation, like explain. What if something which has not been disclosed? The auditor obtained sufficient appropriate evidence in respect of both the matters. So you got now, what is that? Sufficient appropriate evidence you got about both. That means you can either give qualified or adverse. However, management refused to adjust the inventory valuation, also declined to disclose. That means you have to give the modified opinion. Now, in the modified, you will end up giving qualified or adverse. The auditor has concluded that the misstatement are material but not pervasive. Chalo, adverse is out. This is simple. You know now how to report. Already we have seen. But how do you do this now? What if they have not disclosed? Now you have to tell that if they have not disclosed, can an auditor disclose in his report? Answer is yes. Provided he has discussed with the management, TCWG, he should describe the nature, and unless prohibited by the law, he should include it, provided he has got it the evidence. Explain how should you report the above matters in the auditor's report with specific reference to basis of opinion. So here you have to tell with the specific reference to basis. First of all, since the audit, okay, state relevant reporting requirements applicable and conclude the type of the opinion that should be issued. Okay. Since the auditor has identified the material misstatements, management has refused, so SA 705 becomes applicable. He has to modify the opinion. So if you are going to modify the opinion, what is that relevant reporting requirement? First, change the heading. Instead of opinion, you have to change it into qualified opinion. and basis of opinion change into basis for qualified opinion, because they said give special importance to basis for qualified opinion. Now, when it comes to description of the matter, you should give the description like this. In case of overstated closing inventory, you should describe that the closing inventory has been overstated by 8.75 crore due to incorrect valuation of the stock. Because of this, profit also got overstated by 8.75 crore. Further, related to the specific amounts in the statement should include the description and quantification of the misstatement. Okay. Now, what about the non-disclosure? Yes, in the case of non-disclosure of pending litigation, first you should describe the nature of the omitted information. And what is that? Pending environmental litigation. This is the nature. And unless prohibited by law, you have to include the omitted disclosure. Since the auditor has obtained the sufficient appropriate evidence and assuming it is not prohibited by law, auditor may include the omitted disclosure in his audit report. Conclusion: since the misstatement related to inventory and the non-disclosure of overstated are material but not pervasive, you should issue qualified opinion. Okay. In the basis of qualified opinion containing description of the matters, quantification, explanation, omitted information where practical. Anyhow, this part is not required. We already explained in the previously. This you can ignore. But yeah, they have told that you have to issue a qualified opinion. Yeah, very important question, students. You may have to mark it priority 1. If I have not done it, please mark it as a priority 1. You have to study this. They can ask you question because this is the only one question available on omission of the disclosure information. In intermediate also, you don't have this question. This is sitting somewhere. So this is what you need to write. Okay. Now, if the modification results from inability to obtain evidence, auditor shall include the basis of section, the reasons for that inability. When the auditor disclaims an opinion, okay, he shall not include the following elements: reference to the responsibility section. Okay, otherwise you always have that our responsibilities are told in the auditor's responsibility section. No, you should not tell about any responsibility. And the statement about audit evidence was sufficient and appropriate. This also should not be told. Even if the auditor has expressed an adverse opinion, the auditor shall describe the basis of opinion, the reasons for any matters which the auditor was aware having been required modification. Okay. How auditor should give the description of the auditor's responsibility when you disclaim, because they told don't give this responsibility, don't give this reference and all. Okay, you have to state something like this. Auditor shall amend the auditor's responsibility, a statement that the responsibility is to conduct the audit. What you wrote otherwise for qualified opinion, for adverse opinion, for clean opinion, you told what is audit. You told how you did audit, risk-based audit. You told about communication. There were 3 elements, right? There were 3 elements. But if you are going to give disclaimer, there are no more 3 elements. Instead, you say that our responsibility is to conduct the audit. Because of the matters described, we are not able to obtain the evidence, but we are independent. This is that they had told, I believe, here. Responsibility section, somewhere we came across, no? One question was there about the responsibility section. This one. So when you are going to give disclaimer of opinion, how do you describe your responsibility? That like very lengthy paras were there, no? You remember? So instead of that, you are going to state these particular elements. Okay, so the matrix to determine what kind of modified opinion, morning only we discussed. The financial statements are materially misstated. See, this is wrong. In the matrix, please change. Here, you should change obtained SAAE. See, this is how they try to fool. Whether print mistake or have they corrected, I don't know. Please check. Inability to obtain sufficient appropriate audit evidence. So you have obtained evidence, you didn't obtain evidence. Material but not pervasive, qualified. Material and pervasive, adverse and disclaimer. And now, whatever you are going to modify along with the wordings, you need to communicate to the CCWG. The auditor shall discuss the audit findings and the types of the misstatements. With this, we are done with the SA 705. Okay, now what I'll do, I'll just show you one comparative so that it will be much clear to you. That comparative when you read, no? Okay, I'll just take you through the chart. Yes, you see here. Now, I have plotted all the 4 elements here: opinion, qualified, adverse, disclaimer. Now, when we talk about the form and content, see, they didn't discuss this. They didn't discuss this because for all the 4 type of opinion, it is same. That's why in the study material, they didn't discuss. They straight away started with the opinion para. They said, what heading you have got called opinion, it should be changed into qualified opinion, adverse opinion, disclaimer of opinion. Should you say we have audited? Because this opinion para has got 2 elements. One, we have audited, and second, in our opinion. Should you say we have audited? Yes, yes, yes. But here you should say we have been engaged to audit. Should you identify the financial statement? Yes, we have been engaged to audit the financial statement of so and so for the period so and so. Okay, this is the first part. The second part, it comes to opinion para. In this, you say the accompanying financial statement is true and fair, except for the effects of the matters described, or except for the possible effects of the matters described, the financial statement shows true and fair. Because of the significance of the matters described, the financial statement do not give true and fair. Because of the significance of the matters in the basis of disclaimer of opinion, we are not able to express any opinion. This is how you are going to write. Next goes the basis of heading. With this, they have ended, finished. Now, what should be the heading? Basis of qualified, basis of adverse, basis of disclaimer. First of all, reasons for modification. Are you supposed to give? Not applicable for this because there is no modification only. But for others, yes, you have to give notification with the quantification. Plus, if there is a non-disclosure of narration, okay, if there is a non-disclosure, then those 3 conditions will be applicable. You may have to disclose it. If it is not prohibited by law, you have got sufficient evidence. Now, should you give the reference to the responsibility section that our responsibility has been told in the auditor's responsibility section? Should you say that? Yes, yes, yes. But they said no. This is what they said here. Should not include reference to the auditor's statement. Then, should we say we have conducted audit as per standards? Yes, yes, yes. No, you are not going to tell because you never conducted. Should you talk about independence? Yes, but some other place. We are independent, not here. Should you say we have obtained evidence? Yes, they said no. You should not say we have obtained sufficient appropriate evidence. So yes, 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 but not applicable for this. Now, key audit matter. Should you disclose key audit matter? Yes, but not for disclaimer. Where they told, if I go to your study material, they told here a small place. Now, should you talk about other information? Meaningless for your disclaimer, because when you don't know anything about financial statement, how can you compare with the annual report? Should you talk about management responsibility? Yes, same for everyone. Why we didn't disclose? That's why it's same. Already in SS100 we discussed. Should you talk about auditor's responsibility? Same for all the 3. That's why we didn't discuss. Only for disclaimer it's going to change. Should you give the heading? Yes. But what is that you should say? See, in all these places, you have got 3 things. That what is audit? What is audit? The first thing, how did you do audit? What did you communicate? And are you independent? Okay. Now, are you supposed to tell what is audit? Yes. But here, your job is just to tell our responsibility is to conduct the audit as per SA. Go back. See here. You should not tell all those things, but you have to tell this para. Our responsibility is to conduct the audit. I hope students you are able to get connected with this chart. Second, professional judgment, skepticism, identifying audit, high level of reasonable assurance, appropriateness of accounting policy, presentation, we have communicated, nothing is applicable for the disclosure. Then what is that extra thing you have to say? We are not able to obtain and we are independent. So these are all the 2 things you have to tell, which is not applicable to them. for other three things. Independence, it will come under basis of section. Like we are independent as per ICA code of ethics. But here you are not going to tell ICA code of ethics and all. We are saying we are independent to the entity. That's it. Emphasis of matter paragraph. Okay, not applicable for them. Other matter paragraph is not applicable. Legal and reporting, yes, for everybody, yes. Yes, with this, we are done with the essay 705. I hope students, you are very clear. You have understood how the section flows, what type of examination questions they are going to ask, what is that you have to write and practice, how to read the paragraphs, like the draft para. You practice, you develop your own proper para, you practice that thoroughly. After 2-3 writings, you will understand. That language will come to you. Is that fine? Okay, so we'll continue. The next one we have got is essay 706. So we started with the chapter number 7, which is reporting, very important from final perspective. First, we spoke about essay 700, concept number 1. Not that important. 701, important key audit matter. 705, reporting part, that para part is important. So now we will talk about essay 706, which is nothing but ever emphasis of matter and other matter paragraph. So what is that emphasis of matter paragraph and other matter paragraph? So the objective of the auditor, having formed an opinion, is to draw to the user's attention when the auditor's judgment it is necessary to bring certain matters which are appropriately presented and disclosed, which is fundamental to the user's understanding. Remember this keyword called fundamental to the user's understanding, or any other matter relevant to the understanding of the auditor's responsibility. So my objective is, after I have concluded, after I have formed an opinion, because if anything is a subject matter of my opinion, or if it is a subject matter of modification or key audit matter, then emphasis is not going to come, because emphasis will go down. Like I can use the same analogy back. I am the teacher. There is a kid. There are parents. Now parents will ask me about the kid. See, very first thing they are interested into is the academic performance. Agree with me? Academic performance is the first thing. With regard to this, they want to ask my opinion. How is my kid? That's why students, opinion is always at the top. So after academic performance is discussed, okay, whether the kid is good, not good, okay, I cannot tell about the kid, whatever, then your other things will go. Now other discussions will happen. Did you see this? When open house happens, first thing is that academic performance, then all other chit chatting will happen. Now during this chit chat, now for example, there is one very fundamental thing the parent should have understood. I can give an example. Like this kid one day fainted in the classroom and fell down. Now what happened? I gave the maybe water and all, like that kid took the rest and all and went home. Okay, but fine. Another day the very similar incident happened, that kid, the same kid fainted. Now tell me student, when the parents come to talk to me, okay, now is it something my opinion, I am expressing opinion on the student, that student is good or student is not good? No. Agree with me? That's why it is always the emphasis of matter is always after forming an opinion. Always it's after forming an opinion. So should I not bring this fact to the notice of the parents? That look Baba, 2 times this incident happened, or this is the thing. Why? Because in my judgment, this is something very fundamental to the knowledge of the parents, that child is having some health issues. It has nothing to do with the opinion. Please understand, my opinion regarding academic performance is different story. So if it is related to the academic performance, that is really fundamental. That's why I have placed it as the opinion section. So something is coming as an opinion, it cannot be emphasis of matter. Please understand. But if I feel that something else, or I can give something like this also. Like I have seen this kid, like say for example, smoking. It is outside. Like when I am going home, there are two kids, and the elder one is giving some cigarette filled with some God knows drugs or whatever. Because this person, I immediately realized that day his photo had come in the newspaper. Oh, now tell me, students, should I not bring the fact to the knowledge of the parents? Yes, because it's very fundamental. Are you clear? This I can call it as an emphasis of matter. So emphasis of, okay, so your responsibility as per 706 is to draw to the user's attention now, after you have formed an opinion, any matter that is properly presented and disclosed, because if it is not presented and disclosed properly, then it will be forming part of your opinion. After it is proper, but it is fundamental to the user's understanding. Like for example, the earthquake happened. Substantial portion of your building got damaged. Going concern is not an issue. The management has already disclosed in the notes to account. But if you find that this is a very fundamental thing they are supposed to know, because substantial portion is got destroyed, then I will put one stress on that particular notes. Look, Baba, refer note number 28 given by the management. Destruction of the building has happened. And we feel that this is fundamental for you to understand because it has got a lot of strategic importance. Something like that. And any other matter, so this is emphasis of matter. Any other matter that is relevant to the understanding of the audit, auditor's responsibility and the auditor's report. This is other matter. Like for example, in the same example, now I told you one example, right? This kid is, say for example, coming from the BSc background. Now they may ask my methods now, like how did you teach? Okay, I can say, well, rather than that, because we give this example for CAM, I'll explain that also here. Because that is the key audit matter, because it's a very critical, very risky. Now I can give you one more example like this. Now along with this kid, there are 8 kids or 20 kids. 20 kids are there. Now these parents want to know, did I pay significant attention to this, or what was that? Did I encourage the student to ask more questions in the classroom, or did I give them the homework? See, primarily the parents are interested to know about me, about my work. Followed, no? About my report. They may ask you, sir, how did you develop this? What is your criteria to tell that my kid is good? So somewhere they are more interested to know about me, my report, my work. Then it has nothing to do with the financial statement. I will call it as an other matter. Like for example, you are explaining that this particular portion of the audit, I didn't do it. This particular subject, I didn't teach to this kid. Another faculty taught. Similarly, the branch audit was done by so and so. So those matters will be disclosed in the other matter paragraph. Are you clear, students, in fundamentally? Now one very fundamental question can come to you. Sir, how key audit matter is different from emphasis of matter? You should ask me. I am asking you this question. One thing, both are very fundamental. Both are very important. But CAN is viewed from ROMM perspective. This is looked from the fundamental understanding perspective. That means in this case there is low ROMM. Okay, I can give one example. Like for example, there is a litigation going on. It's a very complex litigation. You don't know how much provision may have to be done. It can amount to 200 crores also. It can amount to 20 crores also. That means the ROMM is very high. Now, should you not tell the investors how did you address this ROMM? Now you will quote this as a key audit matter. Why? And you'll explain, look, there is a significant litigation going on. We took the expert's opinion. We did this verification. We referred to this court case law. This is like a key audit matter. We explain. Now the same litigation, exactly the same litigation, but you have got a very good certainty. That means there is no confusion. There is no uncertainty associated with this. There is no risk. You know that a provision of 150 crore has to be made. Now tell me, students, if sure shot you know that provision has to be made, there is no uncertainty, should you call it as a key audit matter? No. Why? Because you need not pay significant attention. There is no risk involved. It is very clear cut that there is a problem and management has provided, and it is very straightforward. In that case, the same litigation is going to become emphasis of matter paragraph. Are you clear about this? I hope you should be clear. No, you have to ask me doubt. Please understand what I am trying to tell. So the difference between key audit matter and emphasis is like this. Both are very important. Now, who is super important? Key audit matter. That's why key audit matter will generally comes above emphasis of matter. Now, which matter should go here? Which matter should go here? It depends upon has the auditor paid significant attention. If answer is yes, it should go here. That means he has spent more time with that. Then go here. Is it fundamental to the user's understanding and auditor is spending more time? Yes, then it should go here. It is fundamental, sir, but auditor need not spend much time because it is like very clear. It is like a black and white. It is in front of you. There is no argument, there is no dispute, there is no controversy. Then it is emphasis. So key audit matter is from ROMM point of view. This is from the significance point of view. Yes. So then they defined what is emphasis of matter. Emphasis of matter is a paragraph you have included in the auditor's report that refers to a matter which is appropriately presented and disclosed, because if it is not appropriately presented and disclosed, it would have been a subject matter of qualifications, modification. That in the auditor's judgment is of such importance, it is fundamental to the user's understanding of the financial statement. Now, what is other matter? It is also a paragraph included in the report that refers to the matters other than, that means this is not talking about the items of the financial statement, but that is talking about the auditor's audit, auditor's responsibility and auditor's report. Now, when to give emphasis of matter paragraph? Simple. When you want to draw the user's attention to the fundamental matters, then you should give. Provided, very importantly, you are not required to modify. Just like they said, key audit matter is not a substitution for modification. Emphasis of matter is also not a substitute for modification. Second, it is not a key audit matter. That means if something is going to be a key audit matter, then it should be disclosed as a key audit matter only. Don't bring it as like an emphasis of matter. Because by its very nature, key audit matters are more important than your emphasis of matter. Because the emphasis of matters are simple, but very fundamental. Health issue is there. Okay, it's simple, it's very visible. But if you are coming from a science background, you don't know account, that is not simple. There's some more catch is there. That becomes a key. It's also important. It's not that it's not important. But it's somebody has to spend more time there, efforts. Auditor has to see no. Similarly, your emphasis of matter comes if it is not modification, if it's not a key audit matter. Now, please make a note, students, very chalu ICA. What are the examples of circumstances? See, whenever they say examples, they try to give one illustrations. They try to tell like what is the situation in which you may have to give. Because every examples will talk about a rule, fundamental understanding. But if you see here, they have done some problems. They didn't tell you properly. So these examples they should have right in the bracket. Emphasis of matter not having adverse effect on the functioning of the company. Please write this. They have given the examples of matter which is not having adverse effect on the functioning of the company. Why I have to write? Because if I go a little down, somewhere later, they have given circumstances of the matter which auditor may consider as an emphasis of matter. Now, these are having adverse effect on the functioning of the company. See, why they have to give two examples, and both are two different examples. Now, somewhere in the illustration or test your knowledge, we will see that this bifurcation has been made. That's why tomorrow, students, in the examination question, if they ask you give the examples of emphasis of matter, and if you interchange these examples and write, then you may not get the marks. There is nobody to tell you also. That's why be careful in this. That's why you should be happy because you found out one catch, risky area. So these are all the examples which has got adverse effect on the functioning of the company, and these are all not having adverse effect on the functioning of the company. Like the kid is seen with somebody having drugs, kid has got a health problem, they are having adverse effect on the functioning of the entity. Okay, there can be certain things, okay, the kid is not participating, not talking to someone. You say that's not having adverse effect on the functioning of the company, but that's very fundamental. You have to tell the kid, okay, the kid is very rude in the class. See, now it's not about the academic performance, but it's not going to affect the functioning also. It's not going to bring low marks. See, your health can reduce your marks, but your rudeness or aggression is not going to reduce your marks. But should you not tell the parents like this? These are all the examples which is going to not having functioning. Like financial reporting framework prescribed by law or regulation is unacceptable. Now for this, no, you have to go to the background of essay 210. So in the intermediate, you must have studied. When you accept engagement as per essay 210, the very first thing you need to check for precondition. There are two preconditions. One, financial reporting framework is acceptable. You have to evaluate, and management has agreed in writing. Management agreement. They are agreed in writing to fulfill their responsibility. What is their responsibility? Preparation of financial statement as per their acceptable framework, internal control, information. Now, what is this financial reporting framework is acceptable? That means whatever framework they have selected to make the accounting. Just to give you an example, like Karnataka Bank Limited. Now, how did they come into existence? Through Companies Act. Now, tomorrow if they come, Karnataka Bank Limited will come to you and prepare the balance sheet as per Schedule 3 of the Companies Act and say, please audit this, sir. Will you accept this engagement? The answer is no. Why? Even though Karnataka Bank Limited is a company, because of its nature of the business, it has been regulated by Banking Regulation Act. Now you have to follow the balance sheet P&L format of the Banking Regulation Act, Schedule A. So the framework to prepare this financial statement itself is not acceptable. Now one question comes, who told them to follow this? Did the law told? If the answer is yes, okay. If the answer is no, they only selected. The standard says reject this engagement. Don't look into agreement and all. If the framework itself is not acceptable, you have to come out of that engagement. You should not get into such engagement because management is trying to fool someone. But if the law is going to tell, then there is a problem. Then what it says, you please accept, but in other matter paragraph, you say that financial reporting framework prescribed by law is unacceptable. Now tell me, students, is it going to affect the functioning of the company? Will your production stop? No. Understand? That's why you differentiate now. Now, to alert the users that the financial statements are prepared as per the special purpose framework, we will see in the 800 series. What is the special purpose framework? We have prepared the financial statement for one specific user, and you have given one audit report on this. Now, what management can do? Management can give this financial statement to bank also. Look, our auditors have certified this financial. When I audited, I have kept them in mind because this is specifically prepared for them. So, in other matter paragraph, I can warn, I can tell that this is a special purpose framework and I have kept so and so person in my mind while drafting. Only they can use this. Now tell me, is your production going to halt? No. When fact becomes known to the auditor after the date of auditor's report, okay, so when you have come to know about the facts as per SA 560, that you can quote in the date of, because we discussed SA 560. If then what you ask first, you will ask the management to amend. If the management has agreed, already date of auditor's report has been issued, then you will give the revised report, and in the other matter paragraph you are going to say that, like, why we are revising it, because already previously I had issued one report, I have come across one new fact we came to know, and because of which we amended the financials. You remember that incentive 4,800 crores was supposed to be issued, that exam question. and auditor provides a new or amended report. So these are all the examples of emphasis of matter where functioning is not affected. Let us see some of the examples where functioning is adversely getting affected. An uncertainty relating to the future outcome of exceptional litigation or regulatory action. That means Government of India Environmental Tribunal, Green Tribunal has sent you a letter. How did you send that Abhinandan Limited? 8 years, how you sent the sewage water to the sea? You are polluted, we will close you. Baba, this is very fundamental. Is an uncertainty going concern? Okay, outcome, that means big fines and penalty can come. When the big fines and penalty will be charged, will my production not halt? Because I don't have money now. I may not have raw material. Significant subsequent event that occurs between the date of financial statement and the auditor's report. That means event itself occurred between the date of auditor's report and the date of financial statement. That fire happened. Now this is the disclosure. See, when you should do the accounting, if anything happens before 31st March, that gets confirmed, then it becomes an adjusting event. If anything happens after 31st March, it requires only a disclosure. That disclosure, if it's significant, then you can bring it as an emphasis. Early application of the new accounting standard, which can have a material effect on the financial statement. Like, what is this? How it can have an adverse effect on the functioning? Early application. Like, suppose India is 116, lease accounting. See, the moment your lease accounting India is 109 came, your balance sheet ratios only got changed. Now, a lot of investors suddenly realize that you are a dangerous entity. Your leverage ratio is very high. Will they give money to you if your balance sheet ratios are going to change? That's why if early application is going to result into these type of things, you have to bring it as an emphasis of matter. It is not a qualified opinion and all. And major catastrophe, fire happened, that can have a significant influence on the entity's financial position. So are you clear, students, with this example? And please mark it very important, because ICA will definitely ask you some examples and they could have given it together. You see here, one example is given here, another example is given here without proper heading. Now, when the auditor should include the emphasis of matter, how you should report? Okay, first you need to have a paragraph as a separate section called emphasis of matter. Correct? So what is that first thing? We have got opinion, basis of opinion, then we have got a key audit matter, then we need to have a new heading called emphasis of matter. Then include under this whatever you want to tell. First, give a clear reference to the matter being emphasized. How? Refer to note number 16. You start your answer with this. Some imaginary dummy note number you refer. Because you can write the emphasis only if they are properly disclosed. So always you should give the reference. So refer information presented and disclosed. At the end, you need to tell that our opinion is not modified. So when we are emphasizing, I'm not telling any bad remarks. Please understand. When I'm telling you something about your kid, okay, that kid was smoking or not, it's not a bad remark on the kid. I'm just telling, please take care. Yes, so I think we can see some Q&A. Test your knowledge too. Write a short notes on emphasis of matter. Hello, you write all the story here. I'll move on. This type of questions, I don't think so. Say they say refer para 6. So you will write about what is the emphasis of matter, when you should issue, when you should not issue, how you should present it in the balance sheet. If you want, you can give examples also, because they say short notes, no, anything you can write. PDT is engaged in the business of executing construction contracts. There are non-current receivables. Outstanding amounting to 500 crore. Oh, big amount. Such amounts represent claim raised by the company on its client relating to the overrun cost due to delay caused by the clients only. Change in the work specification, etc. That means after you started, no, client came with a different requirement. So it's all client's mistake. They have also agreed, I believe. So 500 crore is receivable. Company has also gone for arbitration in some of the cases. That means it must be under dispute now. The management of the company considered the amount to be fully recoverable as stated in the master report. Because in the arbitration, it's the client's mistake. Now, auditor has relied only upon the management representation in this regard. Besides, he has decided to include the said matter in the emphasis of matter paragraph. There is a problem. See, how can you rely on the management representation? 580 says Management representation is not sufficient and appropriate. You could have done external confirmation, you could have taken the arbitration opinion, so many things you could have done, but you didn't do anything. Instead, you have stated in the emphasis. So this should have been a subject matter of qualification. You should have told, I don't know anything about that 500 crore, whether it's really receivable or not. So your answer should be that emphasis of matter. You can talk from SA 580 perspective also and say that emphasis of matter is not a substitute for modification. How do you view the decision of the matter? Okay, or evaluate the appropriateness of decision to include in the emphasis. So first you talk about the what is the emphasis of matter. So how, when you should draw the attention, so you will write here what is the objective. I am not supposed to modify the opinion, that also you write. Okay, in the given case you took the management representation do not constitute sufficient appropriate evidence. Who told? SA 580. So therefore the form of opinion should have been a modified opinion. Okay, therefore the auditor should form his opinion by performing audit procedures. It is only when he concludes that modification of opinion is not required, then only he can give emphasis. But if he feels that modification is required, he has to modify. Yes, I hope it's clear. Yeah, please discuss if it's not clear. Now, test your knowledge 19. ABK Associates, one audit firm, were in practice for the last 2 decades. The firm was appointed to conduct the statutory audit, which was engaged in the business of manufacturing of paper. It decided to commence the audit for the recently concluded financial year. Once after the significant progress was done, following observations were made. Okay, let us see the observation. 1. Management has disclosed in the financials one of the warehouses of the company was affected due to major flood. As a result of the same, company had incurred some losses, but the management that it was not material. Now, is it a material misstatement? No, they must have disclosed it. As a result, the company has incurred losses, they must have accounted it. Now, observation 2, due to the flood, few records maintained by the company also were completely destroyed, and there are no duplicate records maintained by the company. They were material but not pervasive. That means this is clearly a qualified opinion because you didn't have any evidence, and this is not material only. So what you may end up doing, if it is not material, but if you feel that warehouse destruction is one of the very fundamental thing, it's going to affect the operations, you can give this as an emphasis of matter. But since you don't have any records maintained, this will be the qualified opinion. You are required to advise how should you report observation 1 and 2 in the report. If so, under which heading? Very beautiful thing. So you can say that observation 1 is related to the management has disclosed in the financials. So it was not material also. So you can quote it as an emphasis of matter. So you can say what is emphasis of matter and say it should be disclosed as an emphasis. Observation 2, your records got destroyed. You didn't get any evidence. So you have to issue a qualified opinion for the observation number 2. You see students, beautiful. The more and more you get exposed to the different type of Q&A, see how much your ideas will improve, how much better clarity you get about the subject matter. See, I'm telling you again, you don't need to remember all this thing. What you need to remember is this content. This is the key. And this is what you need to play. You need not write the way they have written. I'm again telling you, not required. Don't need to copy the way they have written. You can write in your own language, in your own style, because the evaluator is also a chartered accountant. No, they understand. Step marks are there. They are supposed to tell about 560. Instead, you tell something else. Okay, it's a risk you are taking. You may get awarded also, marks also. Yes. Now, question number, test your knowledge 7. Let's see another question. Audit report of Costly was issued by Bishnoi. However, a case was filed against Costly with the civil code with respect to incident caused its factory on 17th July 21. So you are auditing on 31st March 2021. So 17th Jan, one incident had happened, outcome of which may result into heavy penalty by Costly. Okay, then this your mind will take you to 560 subsequent event. Raj Bishnoi, the partner, discussed the matter with the management, and it was determined that the financial statements to amend the financial statements of 2021. Why? Because on 4th of August 2021, case was filed, which is related to an old issue. That means there was an uncertainty. Today you got a clarity. Now you may have to make a provisions now because they have filed a complaint now. Audit report was issued on 25th of July. Sorry, I missed it. Audit report was issued on 25th July. On 4th of August, that means this has become fact. And paying heavy penalty, they wanted to amend. That means they have done everything what they are supposed to do as per 560. Further, already, see, by now you have already issued the report. Please understand. Now, Raj inquired the management is intent to address the said matter in the financial statement, to which he was told that said matter was going to be disclosed as a contingent liability for the court case in the footnote with no additional disclosures. The management told Raj that such a disclosure was enough, as he would be further going to describe it as an outcome in the emphasis of matter. So, in the context of aforesaid scenario, answer the following thing. Whether Mr. Raj, on behalf of Bishnoi, has properly adhered to the responsibilities of SA 560. So, you have to write about the 560. On becoming aware of the fact, for this, first write the objective of SA 560. You tell what you are supposed to know if after issue of the financial statement, but before it has been released to the investors, if we come to know about the fact, what you are supposed to do. And then you should tell, has he done it? Perfectly, yes, done. Because the moment he comes to know, he discussed with the management, he said the management to amend the financial statement, and he agreed to give one new financial statement. So this we can fetch you 3 marks or 2 marks, I don't know. Accordingly, you have to write some answer. Second, is the contention of management is valid with respect to disclosure? Answer is no, because you have to tell here very specifically that emphasis of matter cannot be your replacement for modifications. Now, if the management has not disclosed in the annual statement, in their notes to account, you are supposed to modify this financial statement. Just because I am going to write in the emphasis, you cannot escape. You have to give proper disclosure. Then you have to tell what is an emphasis of matter. You have to tell it is something which is properly presented and disclosed. Now, that way you can answer. So that's why I feel this should be 3 marks. First you write about SA 570. And they said in the given case, they have done perfectly. Raj discussed with the matter and how they intended to address. So perfect. Now then you should say emphasis of matter is not a substitute for a modification, disclosures, or your SA 570 going concern issues, where they have given this emphasis of matter is not a modification. Have they told anywhere? No. Okay, so this is the straight away coming in your answer from the standards. So it is not a substitute for modification, disclosures, or going concern. In the given case, management presumed that auditor is going to give, so we are not going to disclose. No. Emphasis of matter is not a substitute for the disclosures required by the management, just like key audit matter is not substitute for disclosures. So I can say something very similar to key audit matter. It's not a disclosure, it's not a substitute. You can write an answer like that also. Okay, the last question, MTP of April 25. Difficult Books Limited, name itself is Difficult Books. Due to the change in the law, every company engaged in the manufacturing active pharmaceutical ingredients would now require to production capacity license, which will restrict the production of the companies. Okay, now they may have to apply for some capacity license. The management of the company assessed the impact of the change in the law and appropriately disclosed in the financial statement. Now, audit team of the company evaluated the disclosure and found it appropriate and sufficient. That means disclosure is perfect. But you see, students, is it not fundamental that your capacity can get restricted tomorrow? Tomorrow you may be asked to stop. Is it going to affect the functioning? Definitely yes. So you may bring this as a key audit, emphasis of matter. Now the company evaluated the disclosure. However, said matter is most important and fundamental to the user's understanding. See, the keyword tells you that they are talking about emphasis of matter. Regarding financial statement, they decided to disclose in the other matter paragraphs. Sorry, wrong. Because if it is fundamental to the user's understanding about a matter which has been disclosed in the financial statement, it should not go to other matter, it should go to emphasis of matter. In other matter paragraph, you have to write about auditor's responsibility, auditor's report, or the way the audit has been done. You as an engagement partner guide. So now you first write what is emphasis of matter, when you should give it. Okay, in the given case, what happened? The said matter already disclosed. That way, you should be disclosed as an emphasis of matter and not as other matter paragraph. Yes, hope it's clear. Very good number of questions were there. When to issue other matter paragraph? Very small section. Nothing much discussed. That means entire 706 is revolving around emphasis of matter. See, not even one example they have given here in the study material. And it looks like your example of other matter, but this happens to be your emphasis of matter paragraph examples. They could have given there only. You see how they will try to irritate. So if the auditor considers necessary to communicate the matter relevant to the understanding of the auditor's responsibility and report, you should include other matter paragraph, otherwise provided it is not prohibited by law and it is not a key audit matter. Now how you should give? Write one heading called other matter, and you can give under appropriate this heading, you can explain each of the components. Yes, students, with this we are done. Okay, no, there's something to, okay, something more also. We'll see some illustration 9 and 14. In respect of audit, the statutory auditor of a company noted some of the matters. They want to draw the user's attention towards such matters. They wants to draw the attention, keyword. From this, you come to know it is SA 706. Opinion is not modified. That means either it must be CAM or EOM or other matter. Draft of the relevant para. The company has plans to resume construction activities with respect to one of the thermal power project. Activity of such power plant is suspended last year. Okay, it comprises of 5.95 work in progress. Financial statement of 5 branches included in the standalone financial statement reflect assets worth 90 crores and total revenue was so much crore. They were audited by the branch auditors. Okay, now which one should be reported what? The first one will be reported as an emphasis of matter because this is one of the items properly reported in the financial statements. And it's very fundamental to the user's understanding. But if you see here, this is more fundamental related to the auditor's responsibility, like which portion of the financial statement you did and which portion of the financial statement audit was done by the branch auditors. That's why the second matter will go as a other matter paragraph. So how to draft, okay, write the extract. So what they did, what they told, see the question. Draft the relevant paragraph. So emphasis of matter. We draw to your attention to note number 27. Write some note number. And write the same story. But very importantly, you should write, our opinion is not modified in this matter. This is what you need to write. Otherwise, you will not fetch mark. Coming to other matter paragraph, write the same story. We did not audit the financial statement of 5 branches, so and so, so and so, so and so. Our opinion is not modified. So whatever story they have given, same story you can write there. Because it's like communicating to the users like what happened. So you have got a flexibility there. This is how they say that the standards bring comparability also because of the common words and the paras and the phrases. It brings flexibility also because in these places you can explain in your own words what happened. Now, one of the question was asked in May 24 examination, which is asked in Test Your Knowledge 14 also. Fancy Limited is a foreign company providing software support services, having its branch office at Delhi. So this may take your mind first to SA 299 because branch office you say. They incorporated a subsidiary called the Nancy. Furtherance of the objective. The Fancy Limited entered into a business transfer agreement with the Nancy Private Limited. Okay, so Fancy is the parent here. They have got a branch at Delhi. Now Fancy also incorporated Nancy as a subsidiary. Now they entered into business transfer agreement with the Nancy only. Okay, Fancy again entered into one contract with the subsidiary. Related party transaction. Along with the business of Delhi branch to, okay, they agreed to transfer all the assets and liabilities of the Delhi branch to Nancy Private Limited. So, okay, it could have been something like this. The story goes like this. Initially, you are operating with one branch. That is, branch is not a separate entity, it is part of your organization. Then you created one new legal structure called Nancy Private Limited. Now, new company came and you transferred this division. Okay, this is like a sale of the demerger. One of the division you sold to Nancy. So, this is that agreement. Further, the necessary approval from the regulatory authorities also was received on 20th December. Fancy promised that it shall provide the continuing financial and operational support to the Delhi branch. Further confirmed that any losses incurred to the date will be borne by the Fancy Limited. Okay, it is anyhow all one related party transaction. Your own branch, like father was handling this branch, now that father has given this to the son and son is handling. Ultimately, it is within their family only. Now, during the year 23-24, that means regulatory authorities approval is received on 2023. Going concern basis, they sold on 1st April 23, and as on 31st March 2024, Delhi branch have prepared the financial statement on the basis that the branch office does not continue to be a going concern, and all assets and liabilities will be valued likely to be required at the time of closing of the operations to the extent ascertainable at the time of preparation of the statement. And now your mind will take you to SA 570 going concern. So you understand that this is no more 299. This is no more to related party 550. Delhi branch was incorporated above matter in the detailed notes. Okay, so they told that we are no more going concern. Our parent has sold us to so and so. So we are going to be closing our businesses and we are going to get merged with them. You are the statutory auditor of the Delhi branch of Fancy Limited as on 31st March 2024. According to you, Delhi branch has correctly disclosed about the matter in note number 20 regarding the management intention to close the operations of the branch office. Okay, now first question comes, is going concern inappropriate? Answer is yes. Have they followed the going concern basis of accounting? No, because they said that accounts are likely to be received, the assets are carried at the books of accounts at the realizable value. That means they must have followed breakup value method or liquidation basis of accounting. They must have done that. Fine. Further, you have obtained sufficient appropriate evidence concerning the audit and the verge of finalization of the report. So, which type of opinion you will give? Definitely, you have to give clean opinion. Why? Because they have perfectly done the accounting. But if you see here, there is one very fundamental matter. Okay, that you may have to be brought to the notice. Now, will you write one heading called material uncertainty? No, that is not applicable here. Because material uncertainty heading will come only if there is a material uncertainty and they have given the disclosures. That won't come. Will you give adverse or qualified? No. Why? Because they have done the proper accounting, proper disclosures. Now, draft one suitable opinion paragraph and a basis thereof in case along with the disclosure to note number 11 with suitable place in the auditor's report as per the relevant standards. Beautiful question which they have asked in the examination of May 24. Now you see students, what to write now? You can take your assumptions, you can write, you can draft the para. So you have to draft an opinion paragraph here. See, you can write about independent auditor's report and all, it is your wish because they told suitable opinion para. So you can straight away start with the opinion paragraph only. Anyhow, if you have written it, fine, but I don't think so there will be any marks. But it looks very good actually. Opinion. See, we have audited the standalone financial statement because you are going to give clean opinion. I told no of the entity of identity of so and so financial statement, accounting policy, etc. Okay, next, this is para number A. Para number B. In our opinion, to the best of information and the explanation, the accompanying financial statement give true and fair view of the company's balance sheet and P&L on so and so day according to the Companies Act or so and so. General accounting principles or accounting standards. Done. Your opinion para is complete. You see, why you have to worry about this all big cases and all. They said opinion paragraph, but you should be very clear that I should be issuing clean opinion. That analysis should happen because there is no, even though there is a going concern flavor here, It's clean, right? They said very well that how they have accounted, what they have done. See the level of clarity, conceptual clarity they are trying to test. Then what is your basis of opinion? Nothing. There is nothing to quote. So you say that point number one, we have conducted audit as per standards. Second, our responsibilities are told in the auditor's responsibility section. We are independent as per the code of ethics of ICI, and we have obtained sufficient and appropriate audit evidence. Done. You tell me, students, have you not fetched 1 mark here, right? Just to write the opinion? But that clarity you need to have, that I should be issuing clean. Now, what they said, one more thing, draft this para and basis thereof in the given case, along with, that means plus, with the disclosure of note number with the suitable place. Now, where is this note number 22 I have to quote now? See, first thing, it is not part of my opinion. It is not part of my key audit matter because it doesn't feel like I have taken so much effort, significant attention and all. It is not a part of going concern. But something has been very well disclosed in the notes to account. Tell me, students, is it not going to become my emphasis of matter? Now we have to draft one para. We draw your attention to note number 20. That this is the thing. You write a story. Whatever story they have given, they write that. But very important, our opinion is not modified. Clean. See, 2 marks or 1 marks. I don't know how the mark allocation will happen. But you see, this is one examination question. This is how they want to trick you. See the level of concepts they are trying to test. Yes, I hope it's clear. Yes. Now, is there any duty to communicate with the TCWG? Yes, auditor should include, expect to include, if he is thinking to include emphasis or other matter, he should communicate with the TCWG, including the wordings. Without that, he should not tell in the report. Now, extract of the independent auditor's report. We draw, see, they have given one extract. We draw your attention to note number so and so. The board of directors decided to provide for, please read because this can be your case study in the examination. Otherwise, you will not come to know. By looking at this, no, immediately you will strike, oh, Baba, that day it was given as a emphasis of matter. The board of directors decided to provide for interest on the borrowing, which are previously not recognized in the books of accounts for the reasons stated in the note. Accordingly, the figures for the previous period and years of the current financial liability for the profit and loss before tax earnings per share have been impacted on such a restatement. That means some restatement has happened. They wanted to provide for borrowing interest on the borrowings with the subsequent with the restatement. Consequently, the figures of the consolidated financial statement results of the holding company also stand restated. Effect of restatement has been disclosed in the note number 7. Our conclusions is not modified. That means they have done some restatement. Simple. They have missed something and they must have restated. And how they should account, how they should disclose, everything they have done perfectly. That means its opinion is not modified. How do you bring it to the notice of the investors? You write emphasis. Other matter paragraph. The consolidated financial statement includes 32 subsidiaries. Already we have seen whose financial statement reflect total assets of so and so, and you total revenue of so and so, profit after tax. Okay, you give every breakup of how much profit, how much tax, how much OCI. You give that as considered in the consolidated statement, which have been audited by the respective independent auditors. See, this is the keyword. That means I didn't audit. The results also includes group share of net loss of so and so, respectively as considered in the consolidated financial statement, in respect of 3 associates which have been audited by the respective individual auditors. The independent auditors report on financial statement of these entities have been furnished to us and we have considered in our financials. Is solely based on the report of such a. Our opinion on the consolidated financial statement is not modified in respect of above matter. Okay, in respect of reliance on the work done by others. So simply we are telling, look, Baba, this is other matter paragraph. So and so portion of the balance sheet we didn't do audit. This is what they are trying to tell. So the consolidated results is having. Okay, that's it. Now, students are advised to refer the illustration of emphasis matter, which is given at the later part of the film. Now, what is the relationship between emphasis of matter paragraph and key audit matter graph? Now, auditor's report, okay, presentation as para rather than table. So you have to read it like this, friends. Suppose tomorrow if they ask you how emphasis and key audit make, because first of all they have given in the form of a table. That's why I will give it very high importance. They may ask you in the examination. Now, how should you read this? Because you may get confused. So you write a some notes like this. First, you should read this particular paragraph, and they are explaining what is key audit matter, what is emphasis of matter. I need not read it for you because you know that. You know that. So what is key audit matter? Which is significance in the audit. What is emphasis of matter? Which is fundamental to the users. So in the examination, if they ask you how they are related to each other, first you explain what is what. Second, you should go something like this. Otherwise, you will get confused. This talks about what if a matter is both key audit also, emphasis also. How should you address? Then you should say, if something is both key audit also, emphasis also, we will give priority to key audit matter. Then you read it like this. Third, how it is going to help? They can ask you one more question. So this is how it's going to help. So please read it like this, then you understand it better. Okay, now question comes, what if a matter is both key audit matter and emphasis of matter? So matters are determined to be key audit matter may also be fundamental to the user's understanding. So you tell me, students, will you discuss at both the places? No. In such cases, communicating matter as a key audit matter, auditor may wish to highlight or draw further attention to the relative importance. So what you can do, just like we have already seen one adverse related things, means two places you are not going to tell. But if this is something very important, you will again want to bring that attention because it's telling it is very fundamental. A widespread use of emphasis of matter may diminish the effectiveness. That means everything, this is important. You see, I am also telling priority one, priority one. Almost every question, if I tell priority one will lose its importance. Priority one should be really a priority one. It should be something different, no? So, use of emphasis of matter is not a substitute for a key audit matter. So, auditor may do so. So, then how to code this now? So, everywhere you tell key audit matter, key audit emphasis of matter, it's going to lose its importance. So, auditor may do so by presenting the matter more prominently than other matters in the key audit matter. So, what they are trying to tell here, if one item is both key audit matter and emphasis of matter, see, first of all, there are so many other things. You tell this is key audit matter, this is emphasis, it's going to lose its importance. This is key, this is emphasis. Again, you are referencing so many times. Instead, what they say, see, if both are, this is fundamental also, this is significant also, you tell in key audit matter. Can. But how do you emphasize this? See, there can be 5 items of CAM. You remember one example I showed you? Revenue, discount, impairment. There can be IT system. There can be 5. Among the 5, if any one item is also an emphasis of matter, that item you write first. I hope you are clear. So this is what they say, that left and right you don't write emphasis. If items are also key audit matter, you write it more prominently at the first now by presenting it, including additional information in the description only, telling that this is important. So again, you don't write another place. There may be a matter that is not a key audit matter, but it is very fundamental, that you include in the emphasis. So if it is, what should you include in the emphasis of matter? Purely emphasis of matter items only. You include only those items. But if something key audit also, emphasis also, you write in key audit matter, but write it more prominently as the first item. And the next thing, they ask you how it is going to assist, how key audit matter is going to assist. Okay, it's going to assist because they will help to understand the professional judgment of the auditors. They will help to understand the management. Did you see this question? This was already we have discussed in SA 701. How key audit matter is going to help to the investors, not TCWG, that is a different answer. It will help to know about the professional judgment, management judgment. Also, if they can further engage with the management. So, in this, you can actually ignore this part because already we have studied it SA 701. So, this is actually related to the relationship. I hope it's clear, students. You understood how to read it. Okay, the last they have given one chart, 701. Scope is what? So it is having 2 elements called your emphasis of matter and other matter. Now, emphasis, they give the definition. So, when you should include the emphasis, when you should include the other. Then you should communicate with the TCWG. Okay, you should have the communication with the TCWG. Yes, friends. Okay, so with this, we are done with the SA 705, 6. Okay, so tomorrow's session we will continue with the 710 and other elements.